My name is Simon Schmidli. I come originally from Aargau in Switzerland, very close to Zurich, and I'm the current vice president and the board of directors from Little Scientists. My background is more in business than in STEM, to be honest. So my background is I studied international management in my master's, and I've been working in various different roles in the last years, mostly in project management for digital transformation projects. And I worked in larger organizations, smaller organizations, and currently I work in a small organizations where we do game-based learning for business schools and for companies. So for STEM education, or what motivated me to support Little Scientists, there was not one moment, I think, for me, but when I was younger in school, it was not very prominent to do these kind of things. I mean, I had chemistry, biology, but I didn't have any engineering, and ICT or IT classes back then were more, okay, can you use a computer? Can you write emails? Can you use Word documents? So it was more about that. And lately, when I started working, I realized actually how important it is to be more up to date in these kind of topics. And if you look at the last couple of years on how fast the world has developed, and what is important now is very different to what was important maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And I think also for the schools then, or for the kids, it's very important to keep up with this development, but not only using technology, but also the skills have changed a lot, that the skills that we need for the future. And also, for example, the softer skills are more important now. So can we be creative? Can we think critically? And I think this is very important for the kids now, for the youth to learn. So that's why I think STEM education is very important and will be very important in the future. And that's why I'm very motivated to support, such an organization that helps the kids get ahead. So I think Little Scientists is quite unique in the way we are doing things, and it's mainly because, we're not displacing anything or anyone. I think the school system in Switzerland in general is very good, but we are still trying to help. To give you an example, if you look at the curriculum for schools, it has been developed 6-7 years ago, and things have changed a lot. And I think for teachers and for parents and for the kids, it's very important to also learn the new things. And that's why I think if you look at what Little Scientist is doing, we're helping the teachers with our platform, with materials. We're also teaching ourselves. And I think that is very important for the schools, for the parents, and for the kids themselves nowadays to keep up with these topics. And I think it's also sometimes quite difficult for teachers, to be frank, to keep up with all these things. And for example, building a robot, that's not so easy, and not everyone can do it. So that's really where we come in, and then we support with experts that we have to make this really something unique for the kids, and then motivating for the kids to then further explore. I remember this workshop. It was, I think, about a year ago, and there was this young girl. I think she was 11 or 12, and she came with her mother. And she was very shy. She stuck to her mother, and she didn't really want to participate initially. But then she was sat down, as you know, for the workshop, and it was about robotics. And she didn't have any clue, obviously, and you could see that she's a bit frightened. But there was a young guy next to her. He was, I think, about 12 or 11, same age. And he immediately talked to her and asked her name, and asked her if she wanted to work with him. And I think that was a very great example, and she kind of then lit up, and they worked together, and they made some mistakes, but in the end I think they were both very happy, clapping, high-fiving, everything. And so I think there was a great example that you could see a young child who was frightened, didn't know what this is, but then with the help of the colleagues and with the help of the facilitator, she was very happy in the end, and they could come up with something great with a small robot that moves around. And she was very happy and motivated, and I hope she kept that for the future as well. if you look at the skills that are needed now and for the future, it has been changing rapidly, I think, in the last years. And you can also look at, reports from organizations like the United Nations or the World Economic Forum. They put up a report every couple of years on what is important. And if you look at STEM education and the skills that are needed in the future, I think it becomes very clear that STEM education is a very important factor in the skills that kids need for the future. So for example, if you look at critical thinking, or if you look at how you can solve complex problems, or if you look at creativity, also working in a team, how to communicate with each other, I think all these skills are very important, and they're taught basically through STEM, because you need to do something, you need to come up with solutions in a team. So that's really, for me, what it's all about. And also, if you look at the problems or the things that challenge our challenges in the world, if you look at climate change or other topics, I think it becomes very clear that with STEM education, it's a basis for solving these kind of challenges nowadays. So I think STEM plays a very important role for the future. It's very difficult to say what the future will look like nowadays, and because the jobs are changing very rapidly. If I just think back when I was studying 6-7 years ago, I was preparing for jobs that maybe have not existed yet, and this has only accelerated, especially with the recent developments in AI. So it's very difficult to say, okay, this is going to be the job in 10 years. To give you an example, also, let's look at marketing. When I studied marketing, it was very much analog marketing and in newspapers and these kind of things. And it has transformed to a lot of digital marketing now. So the role of, let's say, an influencer or the role of a social media specialist has not existed 10-15 years ago, but it does now. So I think it's very, very important now to prepare the kids for a future that we are not really sure what the role or the jobs are. And that's why these softer skills and these critical thinking skills, these complex problem solving skills, communication skills, they're so important for the kids to learn now, because they need to be prepared to do a different job that we might not know yet. Well, considering we don't know what the future will exactly look like, and considering Switzerland, where we are right now, is very much at the forefront of innovation. I mean, Switzerland has been for many years now number one or almost number one as the most innovative country in the world. And I think to keep that competitiveness, we need to make sure we stay where we are. And if you look at also the economic landscape of Switzerland, we don't have so many resources, so we rely very much on brain power, so to say. We rely on the service economy, and we rely on innovation. And if you look at the biggest universities in Switzerland, we have ETH and EPFL, who are both in the top 10, 20 in the world in terms of innovation. So to keep that up, we need to equip, the younger generation, and that will help then in the end also for the economy. So the more highly skilled people we have, the more creative people we have, the more solutions we will create for the future, and this will help our economy stay very good and healthy as it is at the moment. If you look at the challenges in the world nowadays, and you look at the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, you look at climate change, you look at healthcare, you can clearly see the connection to STEM education. And you can clearly see that STEM education is needed to address and solve these challenges. And I think this has only accelerated in the last couple of years. I mean, STEM education has been around for many years. Some countries do it very well, some countries a bit less, but it's nothing, let's say, new. But I think the recent developments in technology with AI, and also, like we said, with climate change, have changed a lot in the world's landscape, in the world's economy, but also how we deal with it as people. And I think STEM education is kind of the basis to solve all these challenges internationally, but also on a local level. And if we equip kids with these skills, with this knowledge, then it will also help these kids later on to tackle these challenges, to come up with new solutions, innovative solutions, and yeah, work with each other as well, maybe across countries, across continents even, to really solve these challenges together. And for that, I think, yeah, STEM education is very important. Little Scientists is a non-profit organization in Switzerland, and we are trying to, build this STEM literacy amongst the children. And so we're not doing that, as next to school. We can do that next to school, but we're also trying to help teachers, improve their teaching in STEM. Because this is also not very easy sometimes for teachers, because they have maybe studied 10, 15, 20 years ago, and the world has changed so fast, and so they need to keep up to date. So we're also supporting that, so the education in STEM becomes better in the public schools, which are very good in Switzerland. But also we offer some things on the side, so next to normal school. So for parents or kids who are motivated, who are interested in these topics, they can come to our workshops and they can learn even more. Like you would go to a sports camp in spring, you can also go to a STEM camp. And I think it's very important that experts in STEM subjects work with experts also in education. So we kind of work together and then merge these, important skills or aspects together. So every child in the end benefits from very high quality education. And it also then doesn't matter really if you go to public school, whether you're from a background with parents who maybe have a lot of wealth or not. And we also partner then with local organizations, like from the government in the region, to really make sure that everyone can attend our courses and learn something, because that's in the end what it's about. So the kids learn something and motivated, and I think Switzerland has always been a great example that wherever you come from or from whichever background you come, you have opportunities here, and you can work your way towards university if you want to. And we are working at the base so that this is still possible in the future and everyone can participate in our economy. So the long-term objectives for me, for Little Scientists, is of course in the end it's all about the kids. So how many kids can benefit from what we do, and of course we want to grow that heavily. But at the same time, I think for us as an organization, it's also important that we are financially stable, that we, ensure that we can continue, offering these programs to the kids, and also offer these programs at a cost that is affordable to everyone, or even for free. So we make it open source. So for me, as a board member for Little Scientists, the end goal is clear, so that as many kids as possible benefit from our offering. And we want to continue also that it's possible for everyone to participate. As a community, we can all play a part in collaborating with Little Scientists, but also other organizations who really try to help the kids upskill and learn new things. And I think that is a very important role to play. So if you're, for example, a parent, if you have a kid that is motivated to do something in that area, why don't you encourage it to do it? At the same time, if you know Little Scientists and your school doesn't offer similar things, why don't you make the bridge? So I think everyone can really play a role in this whole construct, and support us as Little Scientists, support the school, speak up, encourage people. And if you're a kid participating in our courses and you have a friend who also wants to do such a course, encourage them to join you. So then next time there's 2, and then maybe there's 4, and then there's 10, and there's more and more. So I think that's the important part, that we support each other and encourage each other to work together to achieve what we want in the end, which is supporting the children in learning new things.